Well, I wasn't sure about making this, but I think I kind of want to because it's important, I guess. I don't usually make content like this, but I think it's, again, important. This came to mind after seeing a video about the right-wing family who went to Russia to escape the LGBTQ plus stuff. On top of it being incredibly silly, I do have something to sort of say about that, strangely enough. It's mainly to do with, like, what's the problem? There isn't any problem, actually, and I think a lot of the times there's just overreaction. So, yeah, obviously the family overreacted, this father at least, and that put them in another shitty situation. And in a sense, it's sort of better to be in the last situation. I don't have any specific bias. I just follow the facts and the truth and whatnot as much as I can and as best as I can. And that's how I determine what I believe, very much. In this context, I think with topics like homophobia and transphobia and you name it, any phobia really, it's easily addressed if you know how to do it. Because I used to be a homophobic person, even transphobic for that matter. And ironically, I ended up pansexual, attracted to all genders pretty much. And yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that as a kid. I would have jokes about it actually. And it just surprised me when I discovered that actually I kind of like guys as well. And yeah, and that was just some sort of awakening as well as I turned into an adult. It mainly come about because I also liked that I like cuteness and stuff. I prefer cute guys over sort of hairy masculine guys. But I do like masculine women, strangely. That's besides the point. The point is that you can heavily criticise something and also be a part of what you're criticising. It's ironic, it's a bit like how in churches they criticise, like, it's not paedophilia technically, that's just the umbrella term for someone attracted to children, but they call out child abusers and predators. Meanwhile, they harbour them. And it's not really any different, I don't think. And it's sometimes the people that actually do it that are calling out that sort of thing. So it's really important to actually be honest with yourself and look deep inside, like, ask what your heart says and obviously wear your heart on your sleeve, as they say. That's what I try to do. Eventually I came to realise some facts about just LGBTQ plus in general, and I discovered that it actually isn't the things I've made up in my head that are true, it's the facts that are there. There's the studies, there's people who exist and can't change who they are. And that's the really important thing. A lot of the time with LGBTQ plus, it's something you cannot choose. There's no choice in the matter. So discriminating against someone for something they can't choose is discrimination. It's a human rights violation. It's similar in the animal sense, actually. If we're talking about animals, like, you can't pick and choose what you do for animals because they can't consent, they can't understand. If you're just killing them because they're born a specific animal, then that's horrible. That's pretty much genocide, as far as I know. And it's similar in the human sense as well, because we've had many sort of histories of that. So the point I'm getting to is that you can't escape anything like this. It's inherent to people. and that's just the harsh reality of it. And as much as we might want a perfect world to exist, it will definitely not. There's no point into deluding yourself into thinking that it would be right in the end, but no. It's complicated, really, because even though some things can turn for the better, it isn't always the case. And in this case of the right-wing family, you think that you know places well enough that you've convinced yourself and you haven't done any more research, which is dangerous anyway, because misinformation is easily like one of the biggest killers, I think, if I'm being entirely honest. Or disinformation, that matters as well. There's so many things that rely on information now that are so important and crucial to our survival that it really doesn't make sense why it's not already information. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say, it's all unscripted. But I think the best way to escape LGBTQ plus is to accept it. And it's the same with race, it's the same with sex, same with, trying to think, disability, that's another one. Even animal rights. Because I think we try to make strides to be better people, and that's why these things happen. The problem is when someone comes along and says you can't be X, that's immediately going to create some friction, and that's going to have a reaction. And yeah, not everything that comes around is good. Like thinking about Ambler. Like you have to listen to their points to see if there's any credit due, but that's part of being unbiased, unfortunately. You can't just think, oh, paedophiles, get rid of them. That's not how the world works, and I don't think it'll ever work that way. Especially in the modern era now, what do you call this? So it's important to acknowledge truths and look at the harm things do and what they don't do. Compare it to your own side as well. Like I see a lot of accusations that transgender people, or some reason LGBTQ plus in general, filled with paedophiles. Like that matters, but a paedophile is also an inherent thing. It's not something that they can choose or change. Look at the research. You're really criticising the things that are wrong with that. So instead of criticising paedophiles, criticise child abusers, predators, or even, like, I don't know what you call it, premeditated? I don't know. It's like before the crime happens, you're criticising those who try to bring harm and do bring it, not those who are trying to actively avoid it. And that's the difference. And it's the same in all walks of life. Like, you will definitely have gay, transgender, lesbian, or even, I don't know, like queer paedophiles, but you'll also have cisgender and heterosexual paedophiles, straight, it's all the same. It's the same quantity as well, if you look at percentages, I think. And it's why it makes no sense sometimes that people criticise this sort of thing. But you haven't actually done the research and you have no place to talk about it. It's dangerous to do that. You should know, especially now with like COVID-19 and stuff. And a lot of people haven't learned a lesson, and to be honest, I can't sympathise with you. Like, it's horrible what happened, but you have to understand you've got a responsibility and you have to face the consequences of what you do. Like I'm doing now. I'm making this video talking to you about just the various things about LGBTQ plus and inherent traits. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to unpack and understand. And the consequences I have to suffer from that, I think, are worthwhile. you have to look at that closely and decide for yourself. There's no easy way out and no easy way in either. And a lot of the time, because we can't obviously have all the information at once, we have to trust people to do things. And I think when, like, in cancel culture cases, it's fair if someone doesn't want to change, or has not changed, for the better even. But I don't think it's fair when it's something in the past, like, I used to drop the F slur a lot when I was a kid, and the N word a bit. And it wasn't directed at people who that would offend. But obviously I could be cancelled for it now, but the point is that I've changed. And I don't use it, I don't see any use in that anymore either. And if people use it against me, I'll just accept it, I'll laugh it off, I'll claim it as my own. And that's a powerful thing that I've noticed as well. Yeah, that's basically accept to escape. Like, I forgot to touch on racism a bit, but I heard a bit about why people of colour commit crimes more often than people who are white. And that's simply because of neighbourhoods and how they're treated by everyone. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, really. Again, talking about the consequences here, because I could obviously be wrong about this, but this is what I've heard. And this is my burden to carry if it is the wrong information. So it's likely that racism is actually caused by basically what you do, like the racists themselves. It's not their choice to commit crime, it's their survival that causes them to commit it. Anyway, I was thinking of a quote recently because I currently live in a sort of toxic house environment. I live with two other people, and one of them's like hyperfixated on masculinity and stuff, and it's gross in a sense because, you know, I'm not into that sort of thing. And it sort of deludes you into thinking you need to be something that you're not. And it sort of made me think about how to fight back and how to be stronger. Because there's no such thing as like a gender or even masculinity or femininity, technically. We're all different, we're all on a spectrum. There's no one label that defines us. And it made me come up with this saying, like my response to it if I was told this. So if someone told me be a man, I'll say no, I'll be myself. And I think that's stronger than being a man, pretty much. I'm quite proud of coming out with that because with my sort of various disabilities, obviously a learning disability, I think that's quite important. Like, I can't delude myself into being someone else, and I don't think anyone else can. It's just important to be yourself. That's what I'm doing now. I wasn't sure about making this video originally, because I was thinking like, oh, what if people I know actually watch this, and I don't know. I'll just release this as is, no editing, just a black screen. I think it's an important topic that hopefully will reach the right people, and hopefully change minds. I only preach peace and love, I don't preach anything else. Actually I do technically by virtue of this video, but the point is, I don't really want violence or hatred. It's not a good thing. I don't see it ever being a good thing. I'm hoping this sort of changes the world one step at a time. If it takes more steps than I intended, then good. So, yeah. See people in another video.